an engineer for a U.S. federal government agency. So really, talk about tenacity and determination. She is tenacity and determination personified. Second is Anna Green. My God, she's a whirlwind. We were not so involved in Women's Network. The shared services should be proud that you have a very robust women's network. We learned of it a couple of months ago in a discussion with my regional managers in Singapore. After the discussion about house business, so on and so forth, she just mentioned, I am an advocate of Women's Network. We should do more about it. So that triggered it. Agnes connected me with Kit Kat and Kia, and here we are. And I'm a resource speaker for like what, a couple of months. So yes.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Lou. And yet, we're very passionate here at ANZ, and the Women's Network is outstanding and has been certainly the time I've been here and well before that. But there's also a whole series of other things we're very passionate about, which I hope you guys can get involved in. It'd be fantastic to have you involved in some of the community work that we do and some of the diversity and inclusion stuff that we do as well. It'd be
Thank
awesome
you.
to
This is a good
partnership
start.
on that. Thank you, Lou. Maybe Amanda, same question to you. So a person of influence to you, and maybe if you can focus a little bit on your leadership style. So maybe somebody who's influenced how you, as a leader, have developed and
Sure. Well, I mean, I think that's good you asked me to focus on that, because the person I was going to identify is the former Governor-General of Australia, Quentin Bryce. She was the first female Governor-General of Australia. That's our head of state. So really sort of similar to our president, I guess. And she was a woman who had 4 children. She had a long career in working for women's empowerment, and was a really impressive woman. Well, she still is. She's still alive. But there were 2 particular things that she did that really had an impact on me personally. Firstly, when she was appointed to the role, she did a TV interview, and she spoke about the challenges that women face with young children and how lonely and isolating it can be to be at home with children and feeling cut off from your community. And she spoke from real personal experience. And I think it was the first time that it was the first female leader we'd had. And it was for her to go on national TV and to talk about those things, I think was really something that women in the country appreciated. And to be giving it voice was really important. And then a few years later, when I was on posting in New Zealand, I had the honour of actually meeting her. And in person, she's just as impressive and feisty as she was in that television interview. And I sat in on a meeting between her and Prime Minister John Key, who's now on the board of ANZ, as Stephen just told me. And they were having a discussion about the South Pacific, which is a region that's of great interest to both Australia and New Zealand, and talking about the things we were doing to assist in that region. And she really, pinned John Key down on what New Zealand was doing for women in the Pacific, and who were often the victims of domestic violence and other situations that weren't great. And I just really admired her tenacity, the same word, in being prepared to give a voice to those women who didn't have a voice themselves. And after following her around New Zealand for a few days, I actually said to her, look, I just so admire your willingness to speak up. And she said, Amanda, when you get to my age, if you don't do it now, you'll never get the opportunity. So that was really inspiring for me.
Fantastic story. And I actually met Cosgrove myself, and he's a man of power. And talking of speaking your mind, he was of the same kind of ilk. JM, lucky last. maybe you could tell us. You've had lots of thinking time. Well,
Yeah, I know.
a lot more than
That was
Gina.
deliberate. Thank you for giving me some time to
That's
think.
okay. So again, same question to you, but more pointed around your leadership style. You know, what you bring to work as an individual, but also, you know, in terms of your thoughts on how you develop your people. What do you do in terms of helping to run our organization?
Well, I guess in connection to what I bring to the table, connecting it to my inspiration as well. I had 3 mentors when I was still as a starting manager back then, and they were now 3 leaders from different organizations, and they're also my godparents to my wedding. So one of the things that I've learned from them is to become effective as a leader. You have to stay humble itself. Sometimes when you get get successful, we get over on top of yourself, and sometimes it forces you to have that notion. I call it the know-it-all leader, and that's what I bring to the table. I listen to my people's voices. I seek for help, and it's just me being honest to say I don't know what you're doing. I need your help for us to succeed.
Yeah, fantastic. And you're a recent father, second time.
Yes, second time.
Second time. So tell us a bit about that in the spirit of International Women's Day. How the relationship at home is going. Are you up
So
at
you gave me a lot of thinking time, but this is the second time in a row. That's good.
Are you up at night, late at night, doing
it
your
is.
share?
Yeah. So again, and I was speaking to my wife and said, hey, so my wife's now, so recently got married. I have a 4-month-old boy now, and I have a 2.5-year-old daughter. So I was part of the, how do I say that, the chauvinist before, wherein I grew up I have 2 brothers, so we were, both, I studied in a male-dominated school, and we thought that we were always superior. And I said we are gifted of being masculine, and we're men, and we dictate everything at home and all, and voila, here comes my baby daughter. It changed a lot because it now dawned on me that if there are people like me before and they do it on my daughter, it's not good. It's not good. And I'd say my daughter is one of my blessings because it opened me to the different realm. So what's happening now is, me and my wife agreed that two rules at home. Number 1 is we never make generalizations. So, pardon me, I'll say in Tagalog, dahil babae ka, ito ang gagawin mo. So in English, so yeah, English and Tagalog. In English, we don't make generalizations. Just because you're a woman, you should do this. You cannot do this because you are a woman. That's one. The second thing is, for my boy, who is 3 or 4 months old now, I would teach him to say, welcome strong women. Do not be afraid. Do not get intimidated if your partner, if your friends, if your colleagues are strong-willed, because that is a good opportunity for you to also learn from that. So your sister will soon be a strong woman. Definitely, I know that, like her mom. Learn from that.
Well done, well spoken. Thank you, JM. Now, interestingly, a couple of remarks were made, I think, by Amanda and Andrew around ANZ's passion for diversity and inclusion here. And our CEO, in fact, last year or the year before, did a quick survey.